Wine Weirdos.
Christopher.
We're going to tell you about a cool new wine access device called Coravin. Christopher and I first came across Coravin up tasting in Paso Robles, and one of our favorite winemakers was using this to pour very small measured tastings of his finest library releases. It was really surprising to see that he was inserting a needle, medical grade needle, with the Coravin, and then replacing the displaced wine with argon, which is an inert gas. We sort of thought, okay, this is an interesting thing that he's putting the wines now back into his cellar to reuse again whenever he's ready, but we didn't think too much of it and moved on a couple months. We then saw it appear at a Michelin star restaurant here in LA, one that we highly respect, and a Master Somm candidate was using this to pour glasses of Premier and Grand Cru Burgundy, among other things, dry Rieslings and so on. That started to catch our eye and make us sort of interested in what was this thing. Then finally, the final star was Ian Blackburn with Learn About Wine, was using it at one of his grand Bordeaux tastings, like really serious bottles of Bordeaux, $400 and $500. And he was using this so that he could pour from that and then reuse the bottles again at a later date. We were impressed, and we got a hold of one right away.
Yeah, we've had it for about 6 months, and let me tell you, couldn't have come at a better time. Mike had just received about a case of aged cellar wines, and I had gotten a couple Colt wineries delivered. And normally we would just look at the bottles, you know, and wonder, slide them away in the cellar for however long. And you know what? Now we had to approach it with imagination. We laid all the bottles out on a table, ordered some amazing takeout, and just looked at it, just drooling. And one by one, we accessed every one of these bottles with measured pours using Coravin. And let me tell you, we nearly achieved wine nirvana. It thoroughly changed the way we enjoy, consume, and now buy wine.
It's like the perfect tool for wine nerds, right?
I agree.
We went through these bottles, and then we're able to take notes and say, okay, this should go to dinner sometime in the next 6 months. This should wait 6 years. It was really exciting to sort of take back that power and control over your cellar and start to understand, like, okay, I don't need to be an expert in wine to now figure out when these wines should be drunk. Plus, hey, it's really fun to go and take a 2-ounce pour of Saxum or Senequinon or Grand Cru Burgundy and see what it's doing on a Sunday night, a Tuesday afternoon, whatever strikes your fancy.
Exactly. I love that it takes the guesswork out of ageability. And how about a white Burgundy flight, 5-year vertical, let's say, on that Tuesday evening? I love drinking French whites fresh. And with Coravin, you can access them while they're young, access them as they enter their window, and as they gain nuance. 1 bottle, 0 bottle variation, which also means you're not having to buy half a case of one wine to enjoy it over its window.
Right. Typical Thursday night for me used to be the dilemma of, okay, I have all this cool wine, but what if I pop something? I'm going to be drinking it by myself. My wife hardly drinks maybe an ounce. That leaves another 24, 25 ounces for me to either drink now
or for it to get oxidized.
Let it oxidize and pour it down the sink. Great choices all around. Now with the Coravin, it's a no-brainer. I know exactly what I'm going to do.
Exactly. And at 50 cents a pour, it's extremely affordable. The Coravin, in the 6 months we've been using it, has basically paid for itself.
Yeah, it's incredible value. I can't think of a better stocking stuffer for your wine nerd friends.
Not seeing your great wines that are oxidized go down the drain. And let me tell you, it's saved our behinds taking wines to dinner.
Oh, of course, because before it was kind of a guessing game. Are we going to be bringing something that pairs well with the food? Is it ready to drink? Am I bringing a bottle that's ready to drink now, or is it going to be too young, too tight, and needed a decanting? And I didn't know, because how can you figure it out unless you have something like the Coravin available to you?
Exactly. For me, a huge impact for me was the health issue. You know, you have this pressure. You open a bottle, you may be alone, you may have other wine drinkers that just aren't hitting it the way you want to.
Right.
And there's health concerns with that. With Coravin and a measured pour, you can enjoy the bottle without any of those pressures, access the bottle, return it back to the cellar, and enjoy and consume healthy amounts of wine.
Right.
And I believe that's why it was invented.
Yeah, the inventor Greg Lambrecht came out of the medical industry, and so he knew how to piece together something that would enable him to access wine from a bottle and then put it back in your cellar, his wife became pregnant. It was no longer an option to just start popping bottles at home and continue doing that. It now became necessary for him to solve this problem, and he really did.
Yeah, and believe me, the health benefits are immeasurable, and I know in my case.
For me too, yeah.
Yeah, the Coravin is essential for any wine nerd and wine enthusiast. I can't imagine consuming and purchasing wine without it.
No, it's become indispensable to us.
Absolutely.
Yep, we highly recommend it. Go check it out at Coravin.com. We'll be back with more on Wine Weirdos.
Cheers.